I realized that playing D1 baseball was a real possibility for me. My sophomore year of high school, going into my junior year, I had a really good summer for my summer baseball team, Power Baseball. We played in a lot of good tournaments. We played against the best competition in the country. I ended up having a really good summer. I hit like 350, a lot of doubles, a lot of RBIs in front of a lot of D1 schools. And like I said, there was a lot of eyes on me that summer, a lot of eyes on my team. And it just so happened that the last game of the summer, we played against a team from Miami, and the starting pitcher was committed to the University of Miami, and his coaches were at the game. And it just so happens that UM was my dream school. And since, as far as I can remember, like I always wanted to play at UM. And so I ended up going 2 for 2 against that kid with two doubles while the coaches are watching. And so fast forward a week or two, the summer ends. My coach sends me a text. He's like, yo, you had a really good summer. Where do you want to play college baseball? I could hit up some coaches for you and I could try to make something happen. And so my coach had a lot of connections, and I told him that I wanted to go play at the University of Miami. So fast forward another couple of weeks or week or two, I get a text from the recruiting coordinator for the University of Miami, and he's like, "Hey Danny, we saw you play. We like you, and I would love to continue to get to know you better. And here's my phone number. Give me a call." And so we started talking over the phone once a week for almost a year. So essentially what happened was is that they were getting ready to make me an offer. However, COVID was also happening in the middle of this process. So things were getting crazy. Players that had just graduated from college were getting another year back. So these teams had a backlog of players, and they had no idea how many guys to recruit as freshmen coming in for the next year. So Miami decided, like after we had filled out some paperwork to determine what kind of offer they could make me based off of my parents' income, and so they decided that it wasn't the right time. It wasn't a good situation financially for them to make me an offer. And so, yeah, that sucked. Basically, after that had happened, I was still talking to a lot of schools at the time. Some pretty like big name schools recruiting me at the time: South Carolina, UCF, JU, USF, a lot of schools in Florida, except for FSU and the Gators. But a lot of Ivy League schools like Columbia, Princeton, um, a lot of schools out of state as well. I probably had over 20 schools, D1 schools that were interested in me at the time. And so it was a pretty cool, and it was pretty cool and exciting time for me. I was really set on accomplishing my dream and making it to University of Miami. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. Like I said, they weren't able to make me a good offer at the time, but they had told me that they were going to continue to follow me and see how my career would play out. After things had fell through with UM, I was still in contact with a lot of schools, but a lot of the same conversations ended up coming up, that we have a lot of guys coming back because COVID has given all these players an extra year, and we are not in a position to make offers to freshmen, to guys who will come in as freshmen. And so we are going to have to pull back. Some of these teams, some of these schools that had already offered me, probably like 5 to 10 of these schools that had offered me had to take their offers back because of COVID. And that was that was just an unfortunate situation. And I know that there were so many other players who were also in my shoes as well. So had an offer from University of South Carolina as a walk-on spot, but I did not want to take that at the time. I didn't think that um, it was smart, which it was the right decision for me. So there was a combination of me turning down some schools' offers because I my head was in the clouds. Like I thought that I was gonna go play for UM. Thought I was gonna go play at a very high level school, at a high school. Um, my whole entire career, people were telling me that, oh, you're gonna make it to the league, like you're gonna play for a really good school. Just and so yeah. So anyways, I decided to pass on South Carolina. I decided to pass on some other schools. Some schools took their offers off the board, and so I was left with some options to play at some pretty good junior colleges here in Florida. And so one college, specifically Indian River State College, had taken me on a visit. I saw the campus, I saw the area, and I saw the field. The field was absolutely beautiful. The area wasn't a whole lot to do. There wasn't a whole lot going on. But I decided that, this program had a pretty decent history. They had some history of players getting drafted, a lot of players moving on to the next level. And so I decided that this was the best opportunity for me. I ended up having the best time of my life at Indian River State College those 2 years. I made some of my best friends. Um, there was just so many moments that are ingrained in my memory that I don't ever want to. I wish that I could relive again because there's nothing in my life that has compared to that time. Everybody lives 5 doors down from each other in the same apartment complex. All the athletes at the school live in the same apartment complex. So everybody is homies with each other and everybody's just there to play sports and have a good time. So it was like we were living at a resort, like it was the best time of my life to this day. And I ended up having a solid freshman year. I batted 300 with 5 homers, good amount of RBIs. And after that season, I played summer ball in Virginia in the Valley League. I ended up having a really good summer in the Valley. And one of the schools who I had talked to in high school but wasn't really ready to give me an offer was FAU, Florida Atlantic University. And they had contacted me towards the end of my summer ball season. And they told me that they wanted to come watch me play. And that was exciting because I had my eyes set on FAU because I always wanted to go to Miami, but FAU was kind of like my second option because it's also in South Florida. Also a very historic program with a lot of success in the past. And so I decided, you know what, like this is awesome. Like I would definitely take this opportunity if it lines up well. So they ended up coming to see me play. They liked what they saw, and they took me on a visit to FAU right as the summer season had ended, before fall sophomore year of college started. So they took me on the visit. I loved it. I absolutely loved the campus. I loved being in Boca Raton. I loved our facilities. Like they were pretty nice. The only thing was that our locker room wasn't connected to the field. So our locker room was huge, by the way, probably bigger than most locker rooms in the country. But the locker room wasn't attached to our field. So we'd have to walk from the locker room before games dressed up down to the field, which is pretty annoying. But the fact that our locker room was huge made up for that fact. So they took me on the visit. They didn't quite offer me yet, but they told me that they were really interested and that they were going to follow up with me as my sophomore year of junior college started. And so right off the bat, this isn't even the spring season, which is the main season for baseball. My first game in the fall of my sophomore year, we were playing a little tournament against other junior colleges in Florida, and there was tons and tons of Division I programs watching. Power 5 schools on every level. any school that you could think of was at that tournament. And so I ended up having a really good first game of the tournament. I had hit a double and a triple, and I made a really good play in the outfield. I threw a guy out at home, and FAU was watching that game as well as Miami, as well as a lot of other schools. And so FAU called me on the bus ride home from the game. They said, "Hey Danny, we're willing to make you an offer. We really like what we saw, and we really want you to come here to our school. We really want you to come to FAU." And so I waited about a week or two, and I ended up taking the offer right away. And I could have waited for other schools to jump in, but I had already decided that I either wanted to play at University of Miami or FAU. And so this aligned perfectly with what I wanted. And so that's how I ended up committing to FAU. I played at FAU for 2 years. Things didn't play out how I wanted to. I wanted to play pro ball afterwards, specifically get drafted and play in the major leagues. That didn't work out for me. Um, and so now I'm working a job, establishing myself as a professional. It's been definitely been a transition. My life has been totally different a couple months ago, and now I'm sitting at a desk working. But you know what? It's a journey, and so I'm gonna put this journey up on YouTube and see where it takes me. So please follow along if you like if you relate to this story in any way, just go ahead and follow along, and maybe we'll relate in some new ways. Maybe maybe we can help each other out.